Live? Hello and welcome to Kabbalah of Adam. We're going to have a little bit different class today. We will get back on our Rabali and Zechariah next week. Due to Passover and studying with Maharusa, we just took a couple weeks off for that. So, but since we didn't do tour last week, because of Passover and all, I did want to do something today, and so I was trying to think of what to do, and so I've got the book, the Tikunei Zohar here, and I wanted to go through some of the things on it. As you see, I have marked just a few things we may check out. But
Mm-hmm.
Can you see me?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But as I read through and study, I highlight things and some of the things like stuff about Shabbat, what our skin really is, why we do Havdalah, why we look at our fingernails. There's all this kind of cool stuff in there. You've heard it said about the golden calf being half ox, half donkey. All that's in here. I mean, there's a whole lot of stuff that you hear in Torah conversations, but you never heard it sourced or seen it sourced. I don't know if we'll get to it all today, but there's a lot of Metatron stuff in here that's really good about the whole angel of the Lord thing. So that's all pretty good. So let's say a prayer. And if you have the Tikunei Zohar, I'm going to start on page 47. It's kind of a little introduction. But what this is, and most of you have heard this, if you've been in Torah very long, is there's 70 different levels of the word Genesis or Breshit. Mm-hmm. And that's what this is. It goes through every tikkun of Genesis, of the word Breshit. There's so many ways you can change those letters around that mean different words, and that's exactly what this is. So we're going to go a few of those today because we live in the world of Berudim, the world of tikkun, the world of repair, and that's what we're doing here. So the Mashiach, according to the Gaon of Vilna and the Kol HaTorah, will be ushered in by the study of Kabbalah and the learning of Kabbalah. So we're gonna learn some of this stuff. Some of you, it's going to be stuff you've heard, stuff you may already know. Some people, it's going to be, but it'll be good nevertheless. If you can just take away a couple nuggets from the class, it'll be great. Ruler of the universe and master of all masters, Father of mercy and forgiveness, we thank you, our God and the God of our fathers, by bowing down and kneeling, which you brought us closer to your Torah and your holy work, and that you enable us to take part in the secrets of your holy Torah. How worthy are we that you grant us with such a big favor. And that is the reason we plead before you, that you will forgive and acquit all of our sins, and they should not bring separation between you and us. And may it be your will before you, our God and the God of our fathers, that you will awaken and prepare our hearts to love and revere you. And may you listen to our utterances and open our closed heart to the hidden studies of your Torah. And may our study be pleasant before your place of honor, as a aroma of sweet incense. And may you emanate to us light from the source of our soul to all of our being. And may the sparks of your holy servants, through which you revealed your wisdom to the world, shine. And may their merit and the merit of their fathers and the merit of their Torah and holiness support us, so we shall not stumble through our study. And by their merit, enlighten our eyes in our learning, as stated by King David, the sweet singer of Israel. Open my eyes so that I see wonders from your Torah. Because from his mouth God gives wisdom and understanding. May the utterance of my mouth and the thoughts of my heart find favor before you, God, my strength and my Redeemer. Amen. Amen. Now, as we go through this, what we will find is in many of these sections, it will have a reference to the Talmud. And so what I also want people to get is you have to understand that Talmud is a Kabbalistic book. It is the Kabbalistic book of Kabbalistic books of all time. Now, can it be used as basic instruction? Yes, but I know what it says, but what is it saying, right? What's going on behind the scene? So we're going to start with what happened and how this Zohar came to be. So you have the Zohar books, right? And there's 22 of them. And then you have the Tikunei Zohar, and you have the Sefer Nutza, and you have all these different other books that are like within the Zohar that are even deeper. So we get to look behind the veil a little bit today, hopefully, and learn a few things. So here we go. Rabbi Shimon left and escaped to the desert of Lod and hid, together with his son Rabbi Eleazar, in a certain cave. And a miracle occurred to them. A carob tree and a spring of water emerged, and they ate from the carob tree and drank from the water. And Elijah, of blessed memory, visited them twice each day, and studied with them, and nobody knew them. And this is what is written in the Zohar, Kaddish, Kitzaba 1. And this is called the corrections of the Zohar, i.e. the Tikunei Zohar. And there are 70 ways in which Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai interprets the word Breshit, in the beginning, Genesis 1:1, from the secrets of the Torah. Rav Shimon commenced discourse in the presence of the Shekhinah, and he began and said, and the wise will shine like the brightness, and the word is Zohar, of the firmament. This is Daniel 12:3. And the wise are Rav Shimon and his friends shall shine. Means that they gathered together to produce a collective composition, and permission was granted to them. And with them, authority was given to Elijah and to all the souls of the Academy Yeshiva to descend to them, and all the angels in a concealed manner and in a manner of intelligence. So all these men that we know of in the Zohar, in the Talmudic era, because Rabbi Shimon's in there, all these men met Elijah, learned with Elijah. He taught in the yeshivas, even up to 2,000 years ago. And the cause of everything, meaning the Ein Sof, granted permission to all the holy names in general, to all the names of the Tetragrammaton, the Yud He Vav He, and to all the various names of designated divine attributes to reveal hidden secrets to them, each name in its grade. And permission was given to the 10 Sfirot to reveal hidden secrets to them, secrets that permission was not granted to be revealed until the arrival of the generation of King Mashiach. This is the generation of Mashiach. And that started in 1990, according to the Gaon of Vilna's calendar. Shall shine like the brightness, Zohar, of the firmament, which is comprised of colors and brightness. The Zohar is concealed and hidden, and a brilliant brightness, Zohar, in heaven, and a brightness, Zohar, that emits sparks and shines like the lightning in the eyes, and the brightness, Zohar, that shines in the white of the moon, and the brightness, Zohar, that shines in the red like Mars. A brightness that shines, combine the illumination, the green like the sun, and the bright green like the star, and the brightness of the Zohar, combined with red and white, shines in every direction as one striking a hammer and emitting a spark in every direction. So too, some souls illuminate from the brightness of the Zohar, and they all illuminate in the correction of this firmament. These souls are those wise ones who possess intelligence to know the secrets of their master. And all these souls are marked and shaped in the Malchut kingdom of the firmament, like stars that shine in the firmament. And this is the meaning of it. And they will shine like the brightness of the firmament. And what is this firmament, he asked? What is the correction called firmament? Rakeya is the word for firmament. Rakeya. And answered, it is by which the souls of the wise illuminate like stars in the firmament. And similarly, they illuminate in the throne. And all these souls flew up to the firmament. And in every living righteous tzaddik, from which the soul of the righteous people fly up and illuminate in the light of the moon, Malchut, from which the return light comes from. And about them it is written, and God placed them in the firmament of heavens to illuminate over the earth in Genesis 1:17. And that firmament which is higher than the living creatures, about which is written, and above the firmament was over their heads, Ezekiel 1:26. If you rearrange the letter Rekeah of firmament, you will find the word Iker. And when you're studying Torah, especially with a brisker, you will hear the word Iker all the time. Iker means the principle and the foundation of the supernal chariot upon which exist the living creatures and the throne of the supernal chariot. And about the firmament at the mouth of a recompense is said, and the righteous is the foundation of the world, Proverbs 10:25. The concealed world exists due to the supernal righteous, and the revealed world exists below, that is, and those that turn many to righteousness, Daniel 12:3. From the righteous everlasting foundation, which is your sod, depends the many. He asked, who are the many? And the reply, those of whom it is said, the ruling is set by the majority. Tractate, this is the Talmud, Tractate Shabbat 15a, which are the aspects of the three patriarchs, since there is no majority with less than three. Now, this is going to be a piece that we've heard used against us thousands of times. The ruling is set by the majority. This is the Shekinah. And from there, you and your people all are righteous, and they will inherit the earth forever, Isaiah 60:21. And about which is said, and the earth is my footstool, Isaiah 66:1, which is the Shekinah, that is composed of the 10 Sphirot, from which Israel was called king, righteous, seers, prophets, masters of Torah, mighty, pious, understanding, wise, and heads of the thousands of Israel. So what happens is it never fails. You can show all the sources you want to prove somebody wrong. And when they get beat, what they will say is, well, we're the majority. The majority is not, we got more people than you. The majority is the Shekinah. And that's in exile. Now, when the sages, the Talmudic sages, they had the Shekinah. It was resting on them. Let's see where we're going to start next. Our next little piece here. 106, page 106. This is called the 8th level of the awe of heaven. The 8th level of the awe of heaven is that one should feel shame. Whoever is shamefaced and does not commit sin because of his awe of heaven is considered as if the world was created for him. Therefore, the letters Breshit, Genesis, can be recognized as Ya'er Boshet. If you take the word Breshit, change the letters around, it means the fear of shame. We see that the fear together with the shame is all one. And whoever is not shamefaced, the masters of the Mishnah, established in Tractate Nedarim 20a, that certainly his ancestors' feet were not standing at Mount Sinai. If you rearrange the letters of the word Boshet, shame, you will find the word Shabbat. So within the word Breshit is the word Shabbat. Rearrange the letters of Breshit, you get Yair, Shabbat. Fear of Shabbat. To not publicly profane it, as a person who has no shame. Woe to him who profanes Shabbat, the queen that is holy, and makes her secular. I thought that was a pretty good nugget. Mm-hmm. Don't you think? All right, go to 109. The 10th level of the awe of heaven. about midway down, it says, an evil handmaiden that is evil as a pit, a bore, which is one of the four sources of harmful damage, similar to the pit of Joseph, as they defined it, and they sent him into the pit, Haborah. The pit bore was empty, Genesis 37:24. And to the pit, Haborah, is the wicked female of the Klippa. And you know, inside the pit, remember the story, there were snakes and scorpions and everything. And then, so the snakes is all the sexual aspects, and then the scorpions of all the idolatry. So he's basically thrown into the Klippa, right? With in the other side. And the pit, the bore, is the male of the Klippa. And it says, and it was empty and did not contain any water. Water is Torah. Because the bore is from there, from the Klippa, and they established it, that no ignoramus bur fears sin, since he does not have the awe of the Lord. Bor, which means the pit, and bur, which means ignoramus, are the exact same spelling.
Change the math.
111. 111. At the bottom, 126. I'm skipping a whole bunch of stuff, but I'm just trying to pull out some little nuggets for us. And he answers. They're talking about the Torah's numerical value 611, and you have the 613, with it, which is the Hasidim and the Gevurot, on the 611, 613, etc. He answers, but all is true. Tiferet is called Adam. Similarly, he, the lower hay, namely Malchut, is called Adam. Because Eve is Adam. They were called Adam. As the masters explained, that he was preconceived first in thought and last in creation. So what was rising in God's thought? Adam. What did he create last? Adam. But the end is rooted in the beginning.
That's Adam Kadmon.
Right. As a result of this, our masters have established Israelites came as a thought to be created. And about them it said, you, my sheep, are Adam. Ezekiel 34, 31. And there's also one in Isaiah that says you are Adam. Likewise, Tiferet is Zeranpin, which is Hashem Tzivaot, Lord of hosts, which is Yud He Vav He, the first in thought of the stars with the letter Yud and supernal wisdom, and the last in action, which is the Yud of Aleph, Dalet, Nun, Yud, which is Adonai, the lower wisdom. All of heaven is his kingdom, his Malchut. Go to 113 on 30, 130. Therefore, the aspect of the Shekhinah, namely Malchut, all must be placed first, both in Torah and in precepts. But from the aspect of the Holy One, blessed be he, namely Zeranpin, now they're calling Zeranpin the Holy One here. You got to realize there's always a level, you know, from our aspect. And the first time my rabbi taught me this, it was hard for me to grasp. What we know is God is Adam. Yud He Vav He, every time it says Yud He Vav He in the Torah, that's Adam speaking. Adam in the garden, Adam. And that's a tough concept to get because Adam is Shem Mama. Adam ain't a person. Adam is a name formula. If you think of it as a dude, you've concretized it, and because you're looking at it from the back side. Look at it from the front side, you're walking into the name Havayah. The Torah needs to be placed before all, and all the precepts, because when there is all resulting from Torah, the Nukva is called the oral Torah. And pertaining to her, it is said, then all the trees of the forest will sing. 1 Chronicles 16:33. And the angel from heaven responded, these are the workings of the chariot. They go on, they're talking about the tzitzis here. A person will be distinguished by the 72 knots binding his tzitzis to attain the 72 bridges of the throne, which are the 18 knots bounding in every direction, meaning 5 knots, 13 bindings equals 18. And it says, and herein, and he sat there in truth, Emet, Isaiah 16:5, which is Zeranpin, the secret of, you will give Emet to Jacob, truth to Jacob. Because Emet is 450. A tenth of that is 45. Memhe, which is Ma, which is Adam, which is Jacob, which is Israel. Which equals Yud He Vav He spelled out with the Aleph. (133) on page 115. At the final redemption, and this is Song of Songs, we say this on Shabbat. Behold, he comes leaping upon the mountains and skipping upon the hills, right? I've come into my garden, my sister, my bride. I've eaten my myrrh with my spice. I've eaten my honey with my honeycomb and drunk my wine with my milk. Da, da, da. At the final redemption, the leaping over the mountains. In Song of Songs 2:8, and Rashi explains, for the sake of the mountains, this is in the Talmud, Tractate Rosh Hashanah 11. The acronym Memhe 45 and mountains, the mountains are the patriarchs, who are the chariot of Adam. As mentioned, the patriarchs are the chariot, which is Hesed, Geburot, Teferet, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Similarly, the jumping over the hills is also Memhe, because hills, Hagvaot, are the matriarchs, meaning Bina, and Aleph, Daled, Nun, Yud, Adonai, which is the Malchut. So God is going to, Adam, Ma, 45, Havayah, is going to come leaping up on the mountains, skipping upon the hills. This is Abraham and Rachel and Sarah and everything. That's what the mountains and the hills are. All right. Turn to page 130. The vow Shva is also the secret of the greater light that rules the day and the lesser light that rules the night. Genesis 1:16. And the secret of 42, which is the 42 name, which is the name God used in creation. And it is the secret of Adam, 45. Follows the vowel Shava. And the 3 dots of the firmament that punctuate the Shva. And the 3 yuds and the vav amount to 36. That's how many righteous in here there are. So if we take the 42 name, there are actually 3 letters, Shin, Bet, Aleph, with 42 equals 45. And it's the secret of the, I'm not going to read the Hebrew part. Well, it's the Emru Lema Shmo Ma, you hear it? Omar. And they will say to me, what is his name? What will I tell them? So Moses is at the burning bush in Exodus 3:13, and he goes, they're going to ask what your name is. What do I tell them? And we know it says, I am. Of course, we're going to find out I am is the Shekhinah. Anochi is Shekhinah, right? But we also know it's Echier, Asher, Echia, right? We know it's that, which is Keter default Bina. hinting at the words Lema Shmo Ma. The name Yud He Vav He with the vowel Shema under the Yud is the Yud He Vav He in Torah. It's Adam. Ma. Has the word Ma in there twice. Look on 131. So if you take the three Yuds, I'm just going to paraphrase here a little bit. Together with 45, you get the explicit name Yud He Vav He spelled with the olives, which is Ma. And with the three letters Het Lamed Mem plus the word, together they are 49. Like the number of letters in the verse Shema Israel. So when you say the Shema and Deuteronomy 6:4, which is 25, together with the 24 letters Baruch Shem Kavod Malkuto Leolam Ve'ed, the last, you have 25 in the first, 24 in the second verse. That amounts to 49. Memtet, Metatron. Then where are we right now? We're counting the Omer, which is a secret of Metatron. It's a secret of the Shema. What you're doing, you're just going up day by day, letter by letter in the Shema, sphirot by sphirot, till you get to the 50th gate of Bina, right? Which is that day, that's when the Torah was given. And about this it says, the masters of the Mishnah explain in Tractate, in the Talmud, Rosh Hashanah 21b, the 50 gates of Bina were created in the world and were given to Moses, except one. That is said, you made him a little lower than the angels. Psalm 8:6. Is Moses Metatron? He's got everything he needs to be him. Meaning the worlds were created, Berea, formation in Yetzirah, and action, Asiya, are the 49 faces of the purity of Metatron, which is the vowel of Cholim among the angels. Okay, page 142, number 22. Whoever reads the Shema, it is though he holds a double-edged sword in his hand. Concerning the four letters of the Havayah, the Yud is the top of the sword. The body of the sword is the Vav, and the two sharp edges are both Hays. Look at this is Rachel and Leah. Remember, even Rob Volley was saying that the sword is Rachel and Leah. He didn't give us the whole rest of Vav and the Yud, but we already had that part at the bottom. This is what the masters of the Mishnah established. Whoever recites the Shema, it is as if he holds a double-edged sword in his hand, out of the Talmud, Barakot 5a. They established that the evening Shema reading on his bed is to protect him from damaging entities. However, with the Shema reading during the morning prayer, the master of damaging entities is bound and has no authority to escape. Praised is he who can slaughter him during that period to fulfill the verse. He who comes to kill you, rise up early and kill him. Sanhedrin 72. And this is the rising up early in the morning prayer, as is mentioned. And Abraham rose up early in the morning, Genesis 22:3. This is one of the stalemates of the Israeli army. If they think somebody's going to kill them, they will rise up first and kill them first. That's just the way they've done it. Okay, page 154. This is a whole thing talking about the tefillin. It's carrying on with the Shema. Remember, you've always heard the story about Adam's Yom Tov, which is when Adam sinned, he saw the sun diminishing, decreasing, which is the winter solstice, which is where the backside gets Christmas from, the birth of the S-U-N. They change it to the S-O-N. And so this time from Christmas to New Year's in the colloquial time in the Gregorian calendar is based upon, that's the backside, based upon this story. So what happened was, what it is Adam had a sacrifice. God provided him a one-horned animal. And this is where all of the unicorn stories come from and everything. So let's find out what happens. What it is. Page 154 at the top. And the two horns were high, but one was higher than the other. Daniel 8:3. So too, the two binding straps of the tefillin, one is longer, which shines the illumination of Chokmah, wisdom, which is longer, and one is shorter, which shines the Hasidim, which is the loving kindness, shortened to the chest, and one is long to the navel. The extension of the upper hay unto Hod, with the letter Yud, by meaning of Chokmah, called the Yud. Hence the upper hay is the knot of the tefillin on the back of the head, which is a secret of Leah, which is a secret of Bina, amounting to 50. 5 times 10, which is the Yud. That's the 50 gates of Bina. That's the secret of the deal. 201. In the lower hay, namely the Malchut, there is one horn. So Adam is in the Malchut. Rachel. Meaning one strap. And the meaning of the matter of the masters has explained is the ox that Adam sacrificed only had one horn on its brow. Tractate Shabbat 28b. You see how the Talmud is just, the Tikunei Zohar is explaining what's going on in the Talmud? It's amazing. As mentioned, more than ox or bullock that produced horn or hoof. Psalm 69:32. Makrin means produced horn is missing a letter Yud. And that is the one binding strap of the tefillin on the arm of the master of the world. So, did Adam put on tefillin? Yes. Is it camouflaged in sacrificing a one-horned animal? Yes. All right. Go to page 163. This is about how did Moses kill the Egyptians. Kind of a good weekly theme. I had to watch my 10 Commandments again. I just couldn't. I just had to do it.
We saw it the other night too.
Yeah. 212 on page 163. There exists no combination of the name Yud-Heh Vav-Heh that does not indicate a supernal secret. Hey Vav Hey Yud in reverse is a combination with the aspects of femininity, meaning that the Hey is named dominant over the aspects of the masculinity, which is the masculinity is the Yud and the Vav of the name. Judgment, death, poverty is seen in the world. This is the secret of Moses that turned around the name Yud-Heh Vav-Heh and killed the Egyptian. So how did he kill the Egyptian? He turned the name around to a feminine aspect because he had raped the Israelite woman, who then had a kid called the son of the Israelite woman, who came against Moses, who would then, when he died, his soul Gilgal into none other than Yeshua Notri, who we're going to get to in here, called a mamzer. It all started back in Egypt. So he turned the name around and killed the Egyptian, as it says concerning it. And they say to me, what is his name? This is what we covered a while ago. What am I going to tell him the name is, right? Exodus 13:3. In straight order indicates mercy. But Moses turned it around in reverse order. Thus, Ma Shmo Ma Li, instead of Li Ma Shmo Ma, the combination of Hey Vav Hey Yud, its vowel is Hey with the comets, and the Vav with Shva, and the Hey with the comets, and the Yud with the shirt. Cherek. Since the Egyptian disparaged his name, he said, what is his name? What could he do to me? He said, Hashem said, kill him with the name. See the Zohar in more 3:18. As they established, and it is written, do you intend to kill me by your utterings? Exodus 2:14. That Moses killed him by uttering the name. If the letters of the name are at the end of the words, then the vowels are from the beginning of the words. Maybe we learned something new there. (167). Breshit is love. Genesis is love. 2:19. Also, the sixth correction is written, and the wise shall shine. Daniel 12:3. These are those who know the meaning of the second precept in the word Breshit, because the first precept is awe, having the awe of God. The second is the fear, literally, awe of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Psalms 111:10. And similarly, the fear, literally awe of the Lord, is the beginning of knowledge. Proverbs 1:7. The second precept is ahava, love, which equals the same as Breshit's numerical value. Since Breshit and ahava equal the same value, one with the other one, Breshit equals 13, the other ahava also equals 13. Now, go to 171. Breshit also spells Brit Aish, the covenant of fire. Furthermore, concerning the seventh correction, it is written, the wise shall shine, Daniel 12:3, referring to those who recognize the third precept of Genesis, Breshit, which is the covenant of circumcision, Brit Milah. Who knew that in the word Breshit was going to be Brit, the circumcision? The letters in the word Breshit spell Brit Aish, literally the covenant of fire. The Brit is the Yud with the Aish, Aleph Shin. It becomes Ish, man, Aleph Yud Shin. Similarly, also the letter Hey with the Ish becomes Isha, woman, female. About these two types of fire we learned at the first, before the sin, primordial Adam wore garments of light, by which primordial Adam was able to dim the circuits of the sun by the bulge on his ankle. The reason at the end of Shabbat we recite the blessing over the lights of fire is because the lights of fire shine the separation on the Yud and the Hey, which are illuminations of light from Ish, man, and Isha, woman, after they sinned. And this is mentioned, and the Lord God made for Adam and his wife garments of skin and clothed them, Genesis 3:12. And this is the skin of the serpent. So your flesh, your actual epithelium, is derived from the nakash. Your fingernails, they're clear, is the remnant, the leftover of the actual covering of Adam. That's why light reflects off of it. So what you're doing when you put your finger on the light, you're bringing that light, light of Shabbat, which is 4D light, which is absolute light, into your body, bypassing your skin, and you're bringing it in your body, and you're carrying that. That's what takes you all the week to get back to the next Shabbat, right? So this is the skin of the serpent in order to get purified from what he sinned. As a consequence, the righteous who safeguard the Brit, the covenant, and continues the great mohin, the brain, really, of the light of Haya, do not return again to their dust, which is the skin. Because what happens? When you die, your skin turns to dust. What was the serpent's curse? You're going to dust the earth. So what happens when a Jew dies? They get him in the ground as fast as they can, so they can decompose and get that serpent skin off. Mm-hmm. And what did the Goyim do? They preserve it, embalm it. They do not return again to their dust, which is the skin. The Malchut, attribute of judgment, which is the greatest desire to receive. And the aspect of the serpent was created from dust, as mentioned about it. And the dust shall be the serpent's food. Isaiah 65:25. Consequently, whoever does not guard the covenant, which means the Brit, which means the male Yesod, to receive in order to give pleasure to his Creator, is sentenced to the shaking in the grave, in the dust. And these bodies are to them an aspect of a grave in their own lifetime. As the masters have said, the wicked are called dead while they are alive. Barakot, this is in Talmud, Barakot 18b. What does Rob Ollie say about the whole Ash Wednesday? You know, they put the ash on their forehead because they already know they're ash. They're Gehenna. They're Gehenna, that their soul already knows. It's an outward sign. And because they are in a daily state of distress and constantly screaming, give, give, as the leech cries, give, give. As the master said, whoever has 100 wants 200. And during their occupation, meaning when they do the work to improve themselves, blood flows out of their split fingernails. They'll work so hard. In other words, they work so hard they'll split their fingernails, which is the skin of Adam. Consequently, they set the custom to look at the fingernails during the Havdalah ceremony at the end of Shabbat, because primordial Adam was dressed up in the garment of fingernails, which shone like the cloud of glory. And due to the sin of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, it was separated from them. And then it is mentioned, and they knew they were naked. Genesis 3:7. And from these, in the body, the neshama, the ruach, and the nephesh, and naked from the garment of light, which are the lights of fire. Because on Shabbat, these lights of fire can be seen when lighting the Shabbat candles of the 2 wicks of fire. And at the end of Shabbat, they are removed from them. Therefore, they set the custom to recite Havdalah ceremony with fire at the end of Shabbat. And since Shabbat and holidays, the soul dressed up in the garments of light, therefore the prophet said, therefore glorify the Lord in the regions of light. Isaiah 24:15. And the masters defined it to honor him with clean clothes. As soon as the faithful shepherd said these things, all the members of the Academy of who's the faithful shepherd? That's a lie. All the members of the Academy of Yeshiva prostrated themselves before him, because no joy is as great among them as the joy when new secrets in Torah are revealed anew among men. That is why he who guards the covenant of fire does not draw the mohin, the brain, without the correction of the central column that diminishes from the upper three on the left, called a completely righteous man. And the yud of the name Shaddai is a ring on the neck of the demon, which is a shin daled. So if you take the yud off the name Shaddai, Shaddai is 3:14. Metatron is 3:14. You take the yud off, it spells demon. But the secret here we want to concentrate is the shin. That's the first letter. Shin is for Shabbat. Shin is for Sandalphon. Shin is for Shaddai. And the shin is on the tefillin and the shin is on the mezuzah. So this is very important. This all has to do with Yesod, energy. Shaddai is Yesod, energy. The name Shaddai, Shin Dalet Yud, is a ring around the neck of the demon, the shade, Shin Dalet, of the evil inclination, a ring that changed him, the secret of the curtain of the central column. Therefore, the name Shaddai is marked on the bris, on the covenant, meaning that it is marked with the mohim, the thought, the brain, that are revealed through the precepts of circumcision. And it is marked on the mezuzah because they all tremble from this chain, which is the sign of Shabbat, the sign of the covenant, the sign of the holidays, and the sign of Tefillin. Immediately, when he grasps the evil inclination, this shade, Shin Dalet, with this Yud of Shaddai, the person takes the sword, which we just discussed, about which is mentioned. Let the high praises of God be in their mouth. Psalm 149:6, meaning he draws the aspect of Hasidim on the curtain, that is Yud He Vav He, because the Yud of Yud He Vav He is the top point of the sword, and the Vav is the body, and the two He's are the double edges, and he slaughters him. How does Hashem kill the evil inclination? With the name, which is a sword. About him it is mentioned, whoever comes to kill you, get up early and kill him by prayer with the Shema. Regarding which is said, Abraham rose up early in the morning, Genesis 22:3. Also, the Shema reading is Ramak. Ramak means spear. Remember, Rav Ali covered that the Ramak, the spear. And remember when we did our staff class on Mate, it's real close to that whole spear deal, Gematria 254. That is, he adds the idea of the spear to what is said before regarding the sword, composed of the 6 words of unification. Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God, the Lord is one. And from the 248 words in the entire Shema, which is how many positive precepts there are of the 613, reading with your God is true, together equals 254 Ramak, or spear. It's a slingshot. Remember, we've been covering the slingshot here lately. Remember, we've covered the slingshot, the bow, and the arrows in Zechariah class, which is the Guvarot and the Hasidim and all that, right? Mm-hmm. The Shema reading is like a slingshot that slings 5 stones. Now, who do we know that had a slingshot and 5 smooth stones and killed a Goliath creature? Wonder what King David was doing. The reading of the Shema is like a slingshot that slings 5 stones, which are Shema, Israel, Adonai, Eloheinu, Adonai, Echad. Adonai is 5. The Hey of the name, which becomes 1 stone in the word Echad, which means 1. So the 5 stones became 1 stone, and he hit him with a stone. Mm-hmm. By the letter Yud of the name. With it, it kills the evil inclination. He asked, at which place is this slingshot indicated also in the tefillin? He answers, the strings of the slingshot is wound around the hand, which refers to the binding strap of the tefillin, as the sling string that throws, zarkah. Furthermore, the Shema reading is a bow that shoots off arrows in the aspect of the lower hay, which is the Malchut, which is Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. And the blessing of the head of the righteous, Proverbs 10:6, refers to the string bow of the covenant. The Ramak spear of the tefillin is the central column, Teferet. The Vav, with the 5 fingers of the right hand ties the tefillin, and the lower hay of the name to the right, which is Hesed, the level of Abraham, whose numerical value is 248. With the Vav in the central column, it becomes Ramach, spear, 254. The Yud and the Hay on 167. The Yud Hay, from the name Yud Hey Vav Hey, in the Tefillin. All the names of Yud Hey Vav Hey share Yud Hey, which is 15, and Shmi, which is 250. My name equals 365, which represents the 365 negative commandments. The secret of Zeh Shmi Leolam. This is my name forever. Zikri, forever. So one of the things is in Isaiah, and it says, and the people shall know my Shmi, my name. Well, what's his name? Nobody knows how to pronounce the Havayah, right? Is it Metatron? Is it Adam? What is it? It's a name formula. Mm-hmm. Because Shmi is Shin Mem Yud. So you have Sandalphon, Metatron, Yehoel. Those are the names from the Malchut to the Keter. The bottom is Sandalphon. The Vach, the 6, is Metatron. And the top one is Yehoel. Right? So if you take Moses' name, it's the same thing. Mem, Shin, Hey. So it's Metatron, Sandalphon, Hebel, Abel. He was the Gilgal of Abel. So he is the entire Metatronic structure and the Gilgal of Abel all at the same time. Who's he fighting the entire time? Cain. The Egyptian was the Gilgal of Cain. Korach was the Gilgal of Cain. And the Neshama, the good guy, the higher level, was Jethro. Cain and Abel's story right there, making peace. Right? Mm-hmm. And so all the Gilgal and all the bad stuff, this whole thing is still the story of Cain and Abel. The nations are Cain, Israel's Abel. Mm-hmm. It's the same story. Go to 177. Prepare an altar of stone, which is Exodus 20:21. The soul that will save him from being agitated by punishment of the grave, and the blood of circumcision will save him from the slaughter of the death angel. What do you think they were doing the night of Passover? The blood of the lamb is not what saved them. It's the hay, the blood on the doorpost was a hay of Yud Hey Vav Hey, which is the place of the Brit, which is the fire of the covenant that we're reading about. All the males that were uncircumcised must be circumcised to leave. Mm-hmm. Or the death angel would whack you. So that's the blood of the deal. Meaning, here we go. If the circumcised child is a bastard, a mamzer, that soul prepared him for the serpent. Who do we know is the mamzer? Yeshua HaNotzri. About which is mentioned, and dust is serpent's food. They got to eat his flesh. Right? Yeah. Drink his blood and eat his flesh. The amount of paganism it takes to do that is the top. It doesn't get any higher than that. And this altar from the ground soil which the Lord has cursed, Genesis 5:29, about which is said, the ground will be cursed, Genesis 3:17, and from this soil, from which one about it, which it is said, and the earth was without form and void, Genesis 1:2, regarding that which is also said, and the earth will wax like an old garment, Isaiah 51:6, and the one who makes an altar for him will share in his destiny, and it is as if he binds him to prepare him for a burnt sacrifice to idol worship. Because the son or daughter, which are bastards, are like the carven and molting images about this one, meaning their father, as it said, the man that makes a graven or molted image, Deuteronomy 27:15. And mentioned further, it places it in a hidden place, and that is, the world keeps hidden and secret. And all the people say amen. Because that child's source is rooted from the primordial serpent who brought about death to Adam and his wife, and about him it is, and as said about him, the primordial serpent, you are cursed. Cursed are you from all the beasts. Genesis 3:14. 3:14. Cursed is a man who hangs on a tree. The klipa, these are the negative forces of the foreskin that sheathes the mohim, the brain, the thought, which is also the tip of Yesod, where the covenant is the secret of the Yud. And these three shells are like the layers of an onion, one over the other. And they are like the shells, the membranes of a nut, about which it said, and the earth was without form, Genesis 1:2. Let's see, skip down here to 243. And from this aspect, these klipa, we learn that the four entered the Pardes. The Pardes is an acronym for Peshat, meaning the simple meaning, which is Noah built an ark. Everybody thinks it says Noah built a boat. The Remez hints to the illusion, which is the Gematrias. The Drash is the interpretation of what really happened. And the Sod is the secret level. It's where we get the term paradise from. 3 ate from these outer shells and died. And they were Ben Zoma, Ben Azza, and Acher. And the fourth, Rabbi Akiva, ate the fruit and threw away the klipa. Survived. Because he entered and exited in peace. Hagiga 14. Now there's a lot more to the story, we know. We've taught it many times. Similarly, we learned that Rebbe Meir found a pomegranate. How many seeds are in a pomegranate?
613.
613. And ate the inner fruit and disposed of the outer shell. And similarly, these shells are difficult questions that surround halakha law, which is like the inner brain of the fruit nut. A person cannot digest the bread of Torah, about which it said, she is a tree of life, Proverbs 3:18, until he disposes the answers to difficult questions arising from these laws. All right. $180. How much time we got, Brad?
It's 7.
How much?
It's 7.
No, it's 7.
7 o'clock.
It's 7 o'clock? Oh, man, that went fast. Last one. Breshit is the Torah. The fourth precept is the word, and Torah is called a Reshit. About it said, the Lord made me in the beginning of his ways. Proverbs 8:22. Now, if you read Proverbs 8 verse 1 and Proverbs 9 verse 1, it says she and her. And they stick Jesus in there somehow. But she's female, guys. I know it's a transgender issue nowadays, but it literally says she and her. The Lord made me from the beginning of his ways, Proverbs 8:12. I was there by his side when he formed the mountains. You remember the whole thing. It goes all the way to 32. This refers to the Lord Shekhinah, the Malchut, which is the first of all creations and the last supernal wisdom, declaring the end from the beginning, Isaiah 46:10. And when she is taken from supernal wisdom, which is called Reshit, she is named after it wisdom. Get wisdom. Learn about her. That is Proverbs 9:1. And when she is taken from Bina, she is named Tavuna. That's the lower aspect, lower 1/3 of Bina. And when she is taken from Hesed, she is called the written Torah, which was given from the right, as it says, the right hand was, the fiery law was given to them. Deuteronomy 33:2. And when she is taken from the Guvarot, she is called the Oral Torah. And as the scholars of the Mishnah established, the Oral Torah was given from the mouth of the Almighty. And there the Oral Torah and mighty stand in breach. And only the mighty could endure the battle, literally the war of Torah, against his inclination. And the Torah is amazing, and the sages are amazing, and maybe we'll pick up one day where we left off. See you next week with Zechariah.